Morning. How y'all doing today? Well, my name's Tom. Well, I'm just a rambling Christian. This is the first time you've been here. Please, stick around. We look at things a little different around here. Now, I like to ramble before I get started, so I'm going to ramble just a minute. You know, I tell you, we don't have the power of judgment at all because we don't know the stories. We don't. Church, everybody's going to hell but them. You know, they do not take into account anybody's pain and suffering. That is a guarantee if you're here, except for them. If you're out here in the world, they have made it very difficult to live. I blame everything on the church. Don't think I don't. So, I'm going to give you an example. And I'm going to have to use my life for its gossip. You know, back when I was a kid, I can remember I was washing my hands in the bathroom sink. And my mother had these cast iron or heavy duty soap holders. And when I pulled that soap out, it fell into the sink. And it chipped off a little piece of the porcelain about yay big. Not very much, just about yay big. You know, and I don't know, man. I walked away and didn't say nothing about it. I don't know, a day or two later, my mother found it. She was pissed. Boy, she was hot, man. My mother could go from Aunt Betty to it in 2.0 seconds, man. She just 2 seconds, bam, just like that. She'd smack you, knock you across the room. I've seen her knock my brother into the wall so daggum hard he went through the wall. But just smacked him in the face. His head went right through the wall, man. But so, you know, my mother's pissed, and she comes to my brother and I, and she's, which one of y'all did this? And she's looking at my brother. And she's telling me, you did this. I know you did this. Tell me you did this. And he said, no, I didn't. And I said, I did it. And I told her what I had done. I did it. And she says, no, you just don't want to get a whooping. He did it. I know he did it. You're going to get it. So, Gary, my stepfather, he would work swing shifts, 2 to 10s or some crap. Next day was Saturday morning. So, my brother and I, we got up, on Saturday. We used to watch Saturday morning cartoons back in the day. I don't know what they do now. Grab a bowl of cereal, sit down in front of the Saturday morning TV. And then the folks get up a little later after cartoons, probably about the time Lone Ranger or something started. And then, so Gary got up. I guess my mom told him what was up. And he says, why don't you boys go off there in the bedroom? I'm going to grab a cup of coffee here and have a cup of coffee with your mother, and then I'll be in with the bell. That casual. Just like that. So, we know we're getting a whooping. We get in there, and he comes in after his coffee and all that, and we have bunk beds, and we're laid over the end of the bunk bed, and he's just wailing on us. He's hitting me, and then he's walking over to my brother. We each have our own bunk beds in the same room. He walk over there, wail on him, and then he'd walk over here and he'd wail on me, and I'm telling him, man, I did it, dadgummit. I'm saying the whole time, I did it. I never once, ever once said I didn't. Not one daggum time. And I did it. To this day, I know I did it. I have always accepted responsibility when it's my fault. I don't care what you think. I make mistakes. If you hold that against me, then kiss my backside. I am not perfect. I have never been perfect. Go. I make mistakes, and at the time, sometimes they're boneheaded. I'm not thinking straight or some stupid crap like that. We all make mistakes either by accident or just not thinking it out, which is on purpose because we didn't think it out. So, and he's sweating, man. I mean, he's sweating. He's huffing and puffing. And my mother is pulling him up. Stop. And I'm thinking in my head, man, oh, this is over. It's no more. She's pulling on it. She says, come get another cup of coffee. Take a break. You can come back and go at it again. Just like that. Hey, take a break. Come in there and have some coffee. Sit down a minute. You can come back and womp on them some more here in a little bit. That lasted all day. Finally, my brother just said, I did it. And they said, oh, we know you did. He took the responsibility for what I had done. Okay. I was telling him the truth. And then, my brother, my folks, my mother used to tell him all the time, I hate you. I hate you so much, but I have to love you because you're mine. Every day, from as early as I can remember, even when she was holding him as a baby. I'm 3 years older. Not much, but I can remember us moving in a Volkswagen bus from Pennsylvania to California, going across country. I was 5 and he was 2. And I can remember all the horrible things my mother ever said to me. My brother went to bed till he was older. Some people call that bad. And then, at 14 years old, my folks left him in Washington State while they moved to Texas under the guise of letting him finish high school in the same school. And thanks. Well, it started, I think, a year or 2 before they moved. So maybe when he was 14, he started working for this guy that did landscaping and things like this. And just a little while later, my folks moved and left my brother with him to finish high school and stuff. Under that guise, that it's for your own good. Well, that dude happened to, him and his friends, molest my brother over those 4 years that my brother was there. My brother is messed up. Meth. He was a heavy-duty alcoholic. Did 25 years almost because of alcohol-related incidences in prison. And my mother didn't speak to him before she died. She wouldn't speak to him at all for years because he was doing meth and stuff, and he was way out there and having problems, man. But see, she condemned him on what he was doing, and yet it's her fault. I saw her do it, and I told her straight to her face, it's her fault. I told her, what do you expect? You told him you hated him his whole life. He still refers to my dad, my father, my stepfather, as daddy. Okay? Not dad or father. I call him Gary. Okay? But, that, or dad, it don't matter. But, that's where he got stuck because of all the horrible things that happened to him by this world. And people would condemn my brother for who he is by no fault of his own. I saw the creation of him. I sure did. I watched it. I watched the horribleness in which he was under. His whole daggum life. And people just throw him aside. Going to hell. And he has struggled with seeking God to try and fix himself. But you have demons, and those were demons created by my mother and my stepfather. They didn't want us. They wanted my sister, which was their job, which is no big deal. I'm over all that crap. I mean, see, I know what happened to my mother to make her like what she is, and I know what happened to my stepfather to make him like he is, and I know what happened to my father, too. So, I know everybody's story because I took time to listen, and I took time to watch and pay attention to what was going around, around me. I saw their pain and suffering. I see the pain and suffering of the world because I've been out in the world talking to them people. I've heard them every day of my life because I am one of them. And so many want to condemn them without ever even sitting at the table and talking. Jesus would be sitting at their table. He would be talking to them, seeing what's going on in their life, instead of just blanket wash. The only people he blanket washed into hell, or if you want to use that word, is church. That's it. Those people that are committed to disobedience. It's not the world that he says is committed to disobedience. He is telling the Pharisees, the scribes, the religious leaders of the day. So few understand that. And yeah, man, I'm not whining about my life at all. But if I talk about somebody else, it's gossip. I was there and I saw it all with my own two eyes, so it's not gossip. And my brother has told me some of the horrible things that he's been through in his life. And man, it'd make a grown man cry. I know. I was grown and I was crying. And we don't even talk. We don't, because we can't communicate, because we're so far apart. I try to tell him. But you can't fix nobody. You can't. I just love him. That's all I can do. The book is the only thing that can fix us and take away that pain. See, I have understanding now. That's what takes away that pain. First, I had forgiveness. I had to forgive that crap. And once you forgive it and that pain subsides, then you can start thinking about it with clear eyes. That's why forgiveness is so important. You should forgive before you ever even get there. That way you can see the whole story. That's key. I didn't talk to my mother for 10 years, maybe a little longer. And the only reason why I did is my daughter made me. Yeah, my mother had heart surgery and was dying and stuff. And I went and I told her I forgave her. I told her I held nothing against her. I gave her a clear heart when she died from me. But I still held her, Marty against her, because Marty never got to forgive her. And my brother. So, it was horrible what was done to him. It was. But it wasn't my mother's fault either. I saw her do it. But she had pain, too. We all have pain. Give me a minute. I had a heck of a day yesterday. I want to go over a couple of things. And then, wow, I don't even know what we're going to do. I got a lot of talking to do. All right, so I'm still rambling. Let's swap subjects a little bit. I truly hate what happened to my brother. If he could overcome that, though. What we had and suffered through. Now I'm telling you, we had a lot of good times. Camping a lot, boating, water skiing, snow skiing. We went to Lake Tahoe, Reno's, Lake Shasta, Trinity, everything through California, man. Redwoods. I've been around the world in more than one way. But it's you have to get out there and see the world to get to know people, all kinds of people, man, all kinds. But we were the Bradys on the outside and the Simpsons on the inside or something. I don't know, man. It was different. We looked good, but it wasn't. And you wonder how many more were exactly like that. Probably a lot. And that creates, that's what builds you, see. Then you have to get in there and get this foundation and let it build you, because you have to make all that stuff go away. And until you can sit down in silence and meditate upon yourself and really look deep inside, not deep out there. You don't see deep anywhere else but here. Out there, all you see is surface. Like I said, they condemn my brother. He is a drug addict, an alcoholic, struggles so hard. Knows God, knows Jesus, but has his own pains and struggles. Now, I want to get off on that, man. That's just, that's the way I look at the world, just like I look at my brother. I love the world just as much as I love my brother. They were created just like my brother, created by man. So if you understand how the depths of the scriptures go, yeah, we are created by man. We sure are. Everything about you is created by man, except for the spirit inside. Okay? So yesterday I was telling you how I can see all this stuff. Well, I got a lot more. It's a lot more coming too, and I see it. I see it all. It's, whoa, man. It's bad. And I tell you, I perhaps was one of the ones that was at fault, per se. Yeah. I've always been drawn to that. And I'm really seeing some things. So, yesterday, I'm meditating upon what we had talked about and what I'm doing. So, I get this call in my head to look at the Key of Solomon, the book I said I was not going to read. 72 Demons. It's about calling them forth and blah, 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 and all this. I tell you, we were once spirits. We were never flesh. So that means something happened in the spiritual realm that brought us the physical realm. Sorcery. Revelations 13. All boogers. I wrote it down. But anyway, 13, 9, perhaps. 9, 10. I can't remember, where sorcery kills us all, and the blood of the saints, the prophets, everybody is caused by sorcery. Everything. All death. Now, death would be brought into, at one time, we were immortal, eternal. That's what Hananiah likes, is eternal. I like immortal. But we lived 1,000 years. We were given 1,000 years. But we sought more. But anyway. Now, at one time, we were just spirits. So something had to create what we have. So I get into this. I get this call, man. And I'm like, and I said, when I downloaded that and I talked about it, I put up a diagram. I can't remember how long. I should have looked at that. I could have known. But I don't remember how long. I said I wasn't going to read that. Unless the Lord told me to. I wasn't going to read it. Well, I got into it, and I just glanced through the topic, the chapters. Creating the circle, conjuring the circle, and then I come across the exorcist of the demons or something. Let me pull this up, because the confession to be made by the exorcist. And me, I know that confessions contain the all, right? If you're confessing, then that means you are confessing the sins of your life that you have done. So that would be saying what this dude did his whole life. You know, what he had done. Man. So anyway, I read this. I'm gonna read these to you and get it all together for you, what I've come across, but just not yet. I'm not gonna read it. Because it's long, and I want to read it first. I have to. It speaks to me very bad. But I tell you, I'm wicked. I know I'm evil. Don't ever think I ain't. Okay? If I'm not paying attention, I'm very evil. And so I read that, and it hit me hard, man, hard, center hard. Talk to my soul, those things. And I get here this morning, and I'm asking the Lord, is this me? Am I one of the ones that did this to us? Pop open the Bible this morning. I get Luke 11:4, but I only see the last line first. But deliver us from the evil one. Am I that evil one? Because the dude in there is asking for forgiveness for some heinous crimes. Heinous stuff. And some of that stuff I have done in this life. So, I have overcome my evil, but it's always right there. But deliver us from the evil one. Am I the deliverer? Am I the evil one? I say, within one of my writings, I don't think I gave that to you, that we were given Satan as our blood sacrifice. Jesus Christ. He's part of the us, Satan, right? The forked tongue. He came with a two-edged message. The sword, right? That's the tongue. Has two edges, speaks of life and death. So, what do you call somebody who speaks double-sided? One with a forked tongue, a serpent, a man of lies, the king of lies. So, that is in direct relation to that fact that we were given the opportunity of a blood sacrifice of one of the ones who committed the heinous act to clean us. Okay? Think of this. Now, we have read in the writings that when the creator of this looked upon it and saw the face of the Spirit staring back at him when he thought he was the only one, he was ashamed. And I am very ashamed in that. Well, that there, I'm very ashamed of what I have done. Very ashamed. The Bible says Nebuchadnezzar commanded that Jeremiah not be killed, but taken away and placed within a house of some ruler. not so sure. I was not speaking out against this then, what I had done, because it says I publicly admitted it. And I publicly admitted it now, basically. This is just what I see. I cannot. In that book, I've read some of that. You know the square with a circle in it? Yeah. Yeah. So, it's all here. At one time, the whole planet, before the flood, before it was destroyed, the Tower of Babel, everybody spoke the same language. Everybody. Everybody had the same religion. The one that's been manipulated and given to us. And it says he blasphemed the scriptures, made it impossible for the poor to get there, and blah, blah, blah. This is a trap. It wasn't supposed to be a trap. We were lied to. Well, the people here were lied to bring them here. Some murders, all this kind of stuff. We're going to read it. We truly are. But deliver us from the evil one. Am I the deliverer or the evil one? Like I said, Satan was given as a blood sacrifice. The evil one. And at one time I was Satan. I'm telling you. I've seen the light. I think Yahweh, Jesus, saw the light of his mistakes. I think we all see our mistakes. It's not the apostles that saw them. It's the prophets. The prophets are the ones that are the wise men. The ones that trapped everybody. That's what becomes of religion when you have to wait on it. You know, like church has been waiting a long time for the return of Jesus Christ. And they have lost sight of truth. At the end of civilization, which we started from, the end became the beginning. God, and I can see that coming. The spirit cannot strive with man for eternity, so that's going to leave. And then there's just going to be people of non-belief within the religion, the religious order. You know what I'm saying? People of spirit will leave. And then, then no spirit is left. Because if you have spirit, you know evil, and you're not drawn to that. It actually pushes you away. Church pushes people away that are not of that like spirit. And religion in its own right is evil. It truly is. We died not knowing God. That's because we were religious. You know what I'm saying? To the law. We have all those little bitty things. We lost sight of the truth. No other God, and love thy neighbor as one of your own. We started taking advantage of the poor, just like we're doing now. Started trying to manipulate the environment, just like we're doing now. You can see where it's going. And I'll tell you right here, right now, the firmament, the water, that surrounded the planet, that was true. But that came in the end. That water, that was protecting us from solar radiation, I believe. We had damaged the planet quite a bit, and we needed that terrarium effect. And water deflects sun rays pretty good, but yet you still get light through it. That's a man-made creation. It says he created, separated the firmaments. So they took all that water from the earth and placed it in space to give us a shield. They're looking for different ways, big curtains, big this, big that. It's going to be water. I'm telling you now. That will be their solution. Take water up, dump it in space, and let it, they'll figure out how to contain it, perhaps with pyramids around the planet that'll hold that firmament in place, or something of that nature. What's really funny is all the capstones are gone. Wonder what they did. But anyway, so much has been lost because this is created. We're only given so much, just pieces of the pie, not the whole pie. Now, it's going to be like that. It's going to be just like that. And when the fallen angels leave this planet, that's when the flood happened. They damaged that, brought the flood down upon the man that was left. Some survived. And you're looking at your descendants right now after manipulation. Genetic code is implanted. The whole earth flooded. Fish and all that would still be here. No sea life or creatures. Well, maybe some when the mixings of the salts and the freshes and all that kind of blah, blah, blah. But evolution tells us we came out of the water. All things came out of the water, the living waters. That's how far back our manipulation goes. We didn't used to look like this. This flesh was different then. I don't know what it looked like. But it came up in stages through a self-replicating, evolving code. It does evolve and adapt to changes in environments. We see that right in front of your face, the adaptation of it. You know what I'm saying? Makes you more suitable for your environment automatically. Doesn't require, handling and making it change. It does it on its own. We have lost so much knowledge. And if you're here, you were there at the end too. So many worlds have come, many worlds have gone. That's what the writings say. The ancient texts say that the Anunnaki wanted gold to put in their environment to block off the rays of the sun. What is gold in the Bible? Water, living waters, right? That's the gold, the silver and the spirit, the living waters, all that. The living waters put into space. Not gold. Gold means squat. Rocks. Gosh, man. got rocks in my yard. Anybody want to buy one? It's worth just about as much as gold. So, all things will be revealed. All things. So, I've been just rambling on. And this here, I'm going to give you some stuff I got yesterday. Now, this is going to be included in my sci-fi novel, of course. Oh my gosh, man. Wow. This guy, we were talking yesterday, and this is right after I read y'all what I gave him. I talked about Atlantis, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, man, that's why people gotta think I'm crazy, because I am not getting very many views, but I don't care. The truth will be known. And there ain't nothing I can do about that. He said, I told you about the the 7 planets with the one inside, all that. That means Atlantis, the spirit knows all. Good morning, my friend. Another day. He had just woke up, man. He goes to bed early, and I do too. But sometimes I get up early. I got up 1:30 this morning. Y'all talking creation? I see the beginning. We did this to ourselves. I know we did. I asked the Father for one. He said, and everything is going to turn out just fine. It's comforting me, man, because I'm freaking out. Not really, but what I see, truly daggum evil. I asked the Father. He's saying, thanks for your fellowship and blah 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 blah. I said, I asked the Father for one I could bounce my thoughts off of. He always gives the desires of our heart, and I thank Him for you and your blessing. But I even got that on video, where I wish I had somebody I could talk to that can hear me. Not that I'm not saying people don't hear me, but people don't hear me. And that's sad. And I do speak weird. And he says, you are the only one that I was going to say that I found, but I don't think that is the case. And then I'm answering from over here. I said 3 on the mountain: Moses, Elijah, and Elisha. Elijah was Jesus. Elijah, John the Baptist. Moses is Moses, man. Moses is the one who led the people to the water, the Jordan, right? He never got to go in. 2 at the wall: Moses and Elijah. The 2 at the wall. Moses, disobedient to God. That'd be Judaism. Peter, the church. Elijah, John the Baptist, the old womb. Elisha, Jesus, the new womb. The 3 on the mountain. And then I says, I hit you up first. I remember all our conversations. I don't forget nothing. The only problem is that you never do, and you always remember that. I can forget your name, but I never forget a book. I never forget knowledge. He said, thanks for hitting me up. And I said, I told you in our first conversation I was looking for 2, waiting on 4. And I even asked you if you knew what this means. And I says, now we both do. And he says, I don't need to understand you to know you. Because he doesn't, sometimes he don't. He thinks about it and then he'll come back. Because I tell you, he can't hear quite everything I'm saying. There's different levels of hearing. We are the ones that set this up. I see that. We have to fix it. On the flip side, the ones who know me need to understand me. And I says, if my friends and family see my list, they're going to think he has more porn stars on his friends list now than anybody else. But see, that's the next batch of sinners. Here, I'll explain it here in just a sec. I can hear you pretty good, and I see what you're bringing. This morning we talked about the deaf and dumb. That's what we talked about yesterday. Jesus said he found no roofs on the churches of the time, so he took the message to those who would hear, and they're hearing it, and they're hearing the message of Jesus Christ. I says we do not need to fix people. We do not fix people. God is the only one who can. Church forgot that. It's no longer come as you are, but fix yourself first. And that's true. That is so true. And he says, log removed from my own eye helps me to, take the splinter out of their brothers, blah, blah, blah. And I says, I want more than is written in the book of life. And I've said that here. I do. Why not? If all things are possible with God, why can't I? Why can't I have one more? And if I can have one more, why not two? Why not 10? Why not them all? Right? If all things are possible for God, why can we not all get out? That's what I want to know. If spirits are pure and have no sin, then we don't need the flesh. That's where the evil comes from. How can we all go back? This happened without knowledge. We moved. The cave is the church now. I'm realizing that in that other. But listen. Wow, it is. Cave is church. When we came here, it was a shift that nobody knew. Type thing. Nobody realized. Nobody knows they're dead. Not a single person here knows they're dead. It's a shift of the spirit that the spirit never even understood. But you come as a child, through forgetfulness. That helps with you being able to take this reality and what you have. It's not your reality, though. This is all done by sorcery. Sorcery is translated for me. Everybody has given blood in a hospital one time or another, except for Lutherans or Mormons or somebody. Blood is life. They don't give blood. They don't do none of that. One of them does. But that's true. Blood is life. And they take your blood. They run it through some tests. What do they do with the rest of it? I'm telling you, this stuff is already in place. That they'll be able to do this. They'll be able to create flesh, no problem. Your DNA is contained within that blood. They have everybody's blood. Everybody's blood. They have. Oh my gosh. How many people are living their life on a camera now? Even me. But, and I told you about them AirPods. I hope y'all looked that up. Some people just, want you to know what caused the flood. Could you believe? Wow. Back in school, I had a teacher who said the Atlantic Ocean was shaped like a bowl that resembles and is the same size as the moon. I tried to look that up, but I'm going with it. I didn't spend much time looking it up because I know what happened. You know, if we used all the water here to go up there, that'd leave a big old hole that you could build something in. Leave a bolt. And the Bible tells us that the whole planet was flooded, and the lords of this world caused the heavens to open. Water came from both above and below. It had never rained. Now the rain is spirits, not water rain. Okay? Nobody had ever died. Okay? And come back. Nobody. It had never rained. No spirits ever returned. And the Bible tells us the whole planet was flooded, and the lords of this world caused the heavens to open, and water came from both. Oh, hold on, he just hit me up. You know, the Bible says it never rained. Even in a terrarium, it rains. In a closed environment, the humidity rises to the top of the bottle, and then it drips back down. So we're not talking about rain of water. Just to point that out. Man, apologize. My mind is really going. And I'll explain it here in a minute. That would both rain waters. Now let's say, now there's two sides here. You know, rain come up from the ground, or water come up and water come down for the flood, right? But now I was thinking that perhaps the moon got here and sat here, perhaps causing, you know, if it sat in the Atlantic, it would raise all the waters. If it busted the firmament, two worlds. Cain killed Abel. They are Cain. We are Abel. Or you are Abel. I am Cain. You are Abel. You people. Here. Many worlds. Many worlds. Giants. Creating of man in their image. So people were already here when they got here. Right? And they manipulated that to where we're at today. I was thinking, Noah, 120 years to build an ark. I did a lesson where Noah, back years ago, where by the description of the ark, windows are 11 feet above the ground, above the deck. You don't build a ladder to look out a window. No, you look out a window at eye height, a porthole. So I'm reckoning Noah, his old lady, anywhere from 12 to 15 feet tall. Because that would, the height of, well, about 14, because I think the height of the deck, it's been years since I did it. I could probably pull out that. But that height, I couldn't see him being, well, they say man was short. 5 foot something looking out a porthole 11 feet above his head, above the deck. I just couldn't see that. So he couldn't have been short. He had to be tall. So how big is a cubit? You know what I'm saying? If we was to take that square I'm talking about and put a circle in the center, then you took that square, made it a cube, you would have a globe inside, a three-dimensional object within 4 dimensions. 6 dimensions, my bad, right? 4 sides, yeah, 6 dimensions. Trapped within a thing. But it also can be the measurement of the cube that would be around, say perhaps the control box, the hole, or perhaps the arc is round, not a box, you know, that Noah describes. Maybe he's giving you the box, but you need to figure out the globe inside. I'm telling you, I'm going to read more about that. But we messed it up and did something. And it stems from Solomon in that book. He did something. I'm going to read it. Now, if that would have sat down, that would have flooded the whole earth. And that happened after man had been taught by them. After we had acquired technologies and things of this nature. It says, oh man, ancient Gilgamesh and all this, 28,000 years they ruled, blah, 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 blah. So many people ruled for so much time, and we blow that off. That's all pre-flood. Pre-flood. That's why you ain't got nothing. If the whole world was flooded, no paper materials would last, no computers, none of that stuff. I mean, if the whole world is flooded, and every scripture, Bible, everything would just deteriorate to nothing. No problem. It says it was a year and a day. A year is 365 days. That's 365,000 years, right? All this crap could have been underwater for 365,000 years and one day. So throw another 1,000 on there. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. You truly don't. Neither do I. But how long does it take to bring man back out of water? When they left, everything, all the waters receded after that time. Nothing but the ark survived. And the sea line. Something had to bring the waters that high. So that means there's waters up there. And we already showed that there's waters in here. And then they just found water on the moon. A huge deposit of water on the moon. I wonder if that's the water they got when they left and damaged the firmament. Opened the floodgates of heaven. And waters came out. Open the windows of heaven. That's what it says, I believe. And it said, not splashdown. Noah took 120 years to build it. The ark that held all of us. We are the spirits he gathered, or we gathered. The 72 demons he gathered. We used water in the end to trap us between the earth and the sun's rays. When Noah left, he brought both floods. The water settled back in the hole of the ark, the Atlantic. We are collecting everyone's DNA now. Tell you about the blood. And they're going to be good with that sin. And man, you think that's hard to swallow? I found the instructions in the Book of Solomon. Even the confession of one who did it. And then I talk about Revelations 18. It's Revelations 18, 23, and 24 about the sorceries. For by your sorcery, and I'm telling you, it's made for, only some can read that garbage. Only some are going to be able to read that. I can see that. Not everybody can read that. And that is not a requirement. I keep telling you that. No way. This is evil. Okay, to have this knowledge. It's the knowledge of good and evil. Okay? And if you're not weighing it correctly, it is evil. I tell you, man. It goes directly to that flesh that you have. Speaks directly to that evil that we all have in this flesh. And it says, for by your sorcery all nations were deceived. It used your, like I said. Only the people who can read that would understand your is us. Just like I said, sinners are called, but sinners don't see that they're called. The church. This is only for certain people. The prophets. This is our wake up right here. We get called to this every time because of the pain that we caused. Your prayers bring us to this, to wake us up. Not everybody is ever going to be able to read this. And it says within them writings that if you can read these, you're not staying and you're not coming. You know what I'm saying? And nobody has been able to read them. I can read them just fine. People don't believe me. That's okay. I take them word for word. I don't have to interpret. I know what, I know animals or spirits and blah, blah, blah. But it all gave me all that through them writings. When it said that in the writing, when it said people were called earth, then that makes earth in the Bible people. You know what I'm saying? It's giving us the keys to translate it. And you have to be diligent in doing that. You can't just blow that crap off. You have to take this as the Word of God. So, and I truly believe that if man would have interfered with it, God would have fixed that for the time in which it needed. You know what I'm saying? It's written in code, basically. It's not. And Jesus is truth. All that stuff that he says, but then it's changed. You can see that if you pay attention. They didn't understand, and they don't understand me today. It says, and in her we found the blood of the prophets and the saints and of all who were slain on the earth. Of all who were slain. Okay? The Book of Solomon is a book of sorcery and demons being summoned to build a temple, an ark. I will tell you where we were spirits first. I found the construction of the circle and how to bring it about. And then, man, Tony hit me up yesterday. This dude's smart, man. Jesus, just us. And he says, just us, justice, their justice system. We are immortal. We are committed to disobedience is what I said. But Tony gave me that. I didn't answer Tony back. And then, man, he looks at words deep. And I'm a words guy. Man, it's not just me. who has any kind. There are people that can feel the Spirit to their core and probably don't even understand all that they know. They just know it. You know what I'm saying? It comes with them. And I've got a couple like that. Some speak over my head. I have to think about them. I didn't have God when I died. Jesus. Well, I did. I repented before I came here. Jesus, just us. Man, you know that? Justice. Or just us. It's just us. You can look at that both ways. And it is man-made. You know what I'm saying? It's just us who messed it up. It's just us who brought all this about. It is us. Just us. All of us are the same us. You know, things like that. Yeah. I tell you, people are smart. Kids are the smartest. It's we adults that make them stupid. He said, Ken says, I believe we will break the cycle, the matrix or social conditioning and programming, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be broken. Programming. Ain't no social, you know, it is. We are programming people to take this crap. We really are. The church. Now he's saying that we're going to do a reset. Now, I taught last year through the writings that it has to reset to work. It has to pull back. It can only go, there's only so many people. So then it has to come back. The guff. There's only so many souls for the flesh. You know what I'm saying? That you see. There's only a set number. There are no others. There is not one extra. You know what I'm saying? There's only a set number of spirits for the flesh. So when that empties and everybody is resting for their 3 days, it has to collapse back within itself. It has to be destroyed and just down to the few that'll start coming that have been cast out. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are going to be coming are those that are going to get the 1,000 years of peace. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that are going to be coming back. Not leaving. It's just a reset. You know, there'll be the few. And when Noah shows back up, Melchizedek will already be here. Okay? Now, tearing it down is my calling, but that's first on the list. I have to plant and build after destruction. Set the new bride in place. The Spirit will not accept the last one. I'm just doing what is required to keep it going. That's true. I'm playing a game. I'm in a role. Just like I say, everybody is in a role. I'm setting up the multi-God phase, free spirits. You're setting up the tree of knowledge in the garden. That's what he's setting up. He's setting up the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Within, he's calling sinners. You know what I'm saying? He's setting up the one God conviction. I'm setting up the free spirit convictions. So this is all set right here in the Bible. Now that is biblical, right there. Because I'm giving the other side. He's giving we're giving both sides of the message here that's in this. So we're just playing a part in this too. You know what I'm saying? So how do I break that part? How do I break that and get us all out of here? How do you do that? See, this is where my mind goes. Because, see, I'm playing a role too. That's just common sense. If everybody is playing a role, even Satan is under the power of God. Okay? Even Satan. We're just facilitating the us. See? We're creating more for them by sticking around with these convictions. See, that's where the mother comes in. She's the only one that can cover us on the way out. She is directly from the Father. And that comes through here. It was given to us for this. It is truly, I'm just in a role. I'm just setting up convictions too. Don't think I ain't. I tell you. Verify all things. I verify everything. Everything. Even what I'm doing. Okay? And like I said, I don't, man. Am I programmed with these words? Or what? But, I have my answer on that, and I'm going to cover that answer. But, see, that's what you have to do. See, I had to verify, and I did verify, and through the Lord's help, I did. What was really going on? You see, I had repented before my death. At least that's what the writings say. And all things are given to us. We are in a created environment. Remember that. Never forget that. Created environment. See, he's setting up that tree, and I'll build in the other trees. You're gathering the sinners in need of repentance. The flesh here will be the new flesh for the sons of man generations. Son of man had to lie on the ground 3 days. 1,000 years from now, they will rise when Satan returns. When they rise, yeah, that's exactly what that says. When they come back in that 1,000 years, they're going to have that flesh's first death, second death. Okay? They're going to have that flesh's second death. And then they will move on after that to their second flesh. And that flesh there and their second death will be up or down. Okay? Then that's going to move off. Son of Man's going to hit the last generation of flesh. That's Gen Z. That's going to be their second death. You see what I'm saying? They're going to have their first death in the next 3, and then bam. Well, the next 4, because you got 1,000 years there where they're not here. Yeah, they came from Jesus 2,000 years ago. They're going to rise in 1,000. 3 days of rest. See, they're going to rise the next day, just like Jesus did. But one day is 3,000 years. The Spirit comes every 3,000 years. So the next people are going to be Paul, all the apostles, all them are going to be here. And That's what you're going to be dealing with. All them liars. Wow. Yeah, Jesus called them the last generation. So they will be in the last three for their second death. Their first death comes in the first three. Boom, 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 boom. Wow. And then the 14. There's 14 apostles. They will return in the last age twice. Once in the first three and in the last three. June 3rd, 24. The 7 planets came into line. 6, the number of man. 3, the Trinity. Man carries inside of himself. 24, the number of priest. Soon, brother. 6, 23, 24. Man. 6, 23, the number of completion. 24, the first day complete in the spirit, a priest. Like I always say, just thoughts. Do you see how I jump around and I haven't stopped? I mean, I went boom, 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 boom. This was all within, just a few minutes. But I haven't stopped thinking of the others either. And I'm still thinking about them. I think about 4 or 5 things at a time. They have been using us for worlds. I have no idea how many eons. And I says, man, eons, that's longer than forever. The same people over and over and over again. New flesh. Same spirits, though. That's how long you've been in slavery. Longer than forever. You're pulled into forgetfulness. Brought right on back. Washed clean. Washed clean. I know I'm long, but I'm going to read this. And this is just half of what I have. O Lord of heaven and earth, before thee do I confess my sins and lament them, cast down. Sorry, I'm going to try and read this. This just tears my soul apart. Cast down and humbled in thy presence. For I have sinned before thee by pride, avarice, and boneless desire of honors and riches, by idleness, gluttony, greed, debauchery, and drunkenness. Because I have offended thee by all kinds of sins of the flesh, adulteries, and pollutions, which I have committed myself, and consecrated that others should commit, by sacrilege, thefts, rapine, violations, and homicide, by the evil use I have made of my possessions, by my prodigality, by the sins I have committed against hope and charity, by my evil advice, flatteries, bribes, and ill distribution which I have made of the goods which I have possessed, by repulsing and maltreating the poor in the distribution which I have made of the goods committed to my charge, by afflicting those over whom I have been set in authority, by not visiting the prisoners, by depriving the dead of burial, by not receiving the poor, by neither feeding the hungry nor giving drink to the thirsty, by never keeping the Sabbath and other feasts, by not living chastely and piously on those days, by the easy consent which I have given to those who incite me to evil deeds, by injuring instead of aiding those who demanded help from me, by refusing to give ear to the cry of the poor, by not respecting the aged, by not keeping my word, by disobedience to my parents, by ingratitude towards those whom I have received kindness, by indulgence in sexual pleasures, by irrelevant behavior in the temple of God, by unseemly gestures, by entering there without reverence, by vain, unprofitable discourse when there, by despising the sacred vessels of the temple, by turning the holy ceremonies into ridicule, by touching and eating the sacred bread with impure lips and with profane hands, and by neglect of my prayers and adorations. I detest also the crimes which I have committed by evil thoughts, vain and impure meditations, false suspicions, and rash judgments, by the evil consent which I have readily given unto the advice of the wicked, by lust of impure and sensual pleasures, by my idle words, my lies, and my deceit, by my false vows in various ways, and by my continual slander and calumny. I detest also the crimes which I have committed within, the treachery and discord which I have incited, my curiosity, greed, false speaking, violence, maledictions, murmurs, blasphemies, vain words, insult, dissimulations, my sins against God by the transgression of the 10 Commandments, by neglect of my duties and obligations, and by want of love toward my neighbor. Furthermore, I hate the sins which I have committed in all my senses, by sight, by hearing, by taste, by smell, and by touch, in every way that human weakness can offend the Creator, by my carnal thoughts, deeds, and meditations, in which I humbly confess that I have sinned. And I recognize myself as being in the sight of God the most criminal of all men. So, anyway, that's what called to me all day yesterday. That's all I have. But I tell you, this place is evil. It's made by evil people. I am one of the 72 demons. This is a confession from one of them demons. And speaks to my soul. Truly does. And then this morning, I get up and I get Luke 11:4, that last line. But deliver us from the evil one. It kind of says, get over it and get back to work. After destruction, I have to build and plant. I tell you, the mother, she's here. She's ready to go. I have been forgiven. Satan can be forgiven. We were all Satan. We are all Satan. I mean, that's what the flesh is. It's evil. It's evil. We desired more than what we had. Truly. Truly. May the Holy Spirit guide you. Thank God, the Father, the Creator of it all, protect your soul.